These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording Monday, June 3rd. A couple more days until Game 1. Game 1 tipping off Thursday, June 6th of the NBA Finals between the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks. We got plenty of stuff to talk about today, kind of, and we'll get cracking. I'm hyped for the finals. How you doing, Sam?
I'm fucking sick and tired of waiting for this fucking series to start, and I know you are too. We have more on how the Celtics could slow down Luka. We have some new Kyrie Porzingis stuff that Jake Fisher, friend of the show, brought to light today. Very interesting from him. Some rat rumors surrounding other teams trying to pry Celtics coaches away. And apparently Derrick Jones Jr. almost signed with the Celtics this summer. So we'll talk about that. And then around the league, just different updates from a few teams. And then we'll have the rat list coming at you. But we're here. We're here to help you get to the finals. You have, as you're listening to this, 2 more days till there's finally basketball on again. I am not looking forward to what it's going to feel like in fucking August this year, dude. Fucking brutal. And we actually have a series to pay attention to.
Gonna be tough, but we're gonna start with. So a couple days ago, we talked about Joe Mazzulla's perspective on how to guard Luka Doncic and Kyrie, saying there's no guarantee you can. Effectively saying like you got to focus on doing everything else. Like the series isn't all about that. And while it's not all about that, it's kind of a lot about that. It's kind of a lot about how the Celtics can slow down Luka, how they can slow down Kyrie. Those are by far the 2 best players on the Mavs, and that's sort of the focal point of their offense. Our guy Spoonie from First to the Floor, who I just recently learned his name isn't actually Wayne, has been putting a ton of clips on his Twitter timeline of guarding Luka, of forcing Luka to defend. And so I wanted to look at some of the numbers that he has put on his Twitter. And so this is a huge shout out to Spoonie. You can follow him on Twitter at WSpoonie. It'll be on the screen here, but we're going to be looking at some of the clips he's brought up and talking about how the Celtics can make life hard and potentially stop Luka Doncic, even though there's probably not much hope of doing that on a consistent basis. But shout out Spoonie. This is him on Twitter. Go follow him. We appreciate him very much. We're just going to be flicking through some of the clips he's put on here. Looking at how to guard Luka, looking at how different looks they can throw at him. And I suppose we can start here because we're just going to scroll down. So audio listeners, this is the best time to subscribe to How About Them Celtics on YouTube because we're going to be watching a lot of video stuff. But if you're not, I'll do my best to describe it for you so you're not left out of the loop because I know some people listen to their car and stuff. But Luka Doncic is dribbling the ball up here. He's just passing half court. Jaylen Brown in front of him, guarding him. PJ Washington comes up to set a screen. And Kristaps Porzingis is guarding him. And look at that. Like I said, Tatum guarding the big man. I like that look, and I think you're going to see it a lot in the series. Porzingis is brought into the action. PJ Washington doesn't really set the screen, sort of slips it and fades back out to the 3-point line, or pops back out, I should say. Kristaps doubles Luka with Jaylen Brown. Drew sort of throws some pressure at him on the drive, and then PJ Washington ends up getting a relatively open floater, which he misses off the back rim, and then unfortunately gets his own rebound. And from there, the Celtics strip it and get the ball back. But this is a lot of the stuff you're going to see if you do blitz. I mean, at this point in the season, I would guess PJ Washington might just pick it to Kyrie or maybe get some space to shoot a 3. But Jrue Holiday did a good job of reading and reacting and going over to him. But blitzing Luka is a dangerous game because that's like sending 2 at Nikola Jokic. Luka's always going to make the right pass. So I don't know if blitzing is the consistent thing the Celtics should go to, but I guess mixing it up is important.
In this case, the blitz leaves Dallas with the ball in the hands of somebody they don't want making decisions. When PJ Washington gets past Holiday on the drive, he is left with a decision. He has to decide whether he wants to hit Derek Lively on the baseline cut, probably with a lob, or if he wants to try and shoot a floater. And if you watch this clip with us, you'll kind of see like it looks like he's a little stuck between decisions. He's not quite sure what he wants to do with the ball as he hits the paint. And because of that, he misses a shot that he probably would make a lot of the time. I'm not saying gamble and just try and make him make a good decision every time. But this is a good example of how if things aren't going well, you can take the fate of your defense out of Luka Doncic's hands and make somebody else have to beat you. Whether or not that's the strategy they're going to take in this series is one thing, but it's an option.
Yeah. Another one that Spoonie put on Twitter. He just sort of put the shrug emoji with this, but it's Luka Doncic dribbling up. I think this is Dante Exum screening for him. And Kristaps is on Dante Exum because they're hiding him there so he can help. Exum sets the screen and rolls through, and Celtics switch this up for some reason. Feels like Tatum should just stuck with Luka. But
Correct.
KP ends up guarding Luka, whether it's a miscommunication or not. Luka dribbles at the top of the key, tries to get past KP. Horford's doing a good job of helping, so he can't drive to that spot. Luka sends Kleber away, so Horford leaves, and then Luka settles for a three from a few feet behind the line. He makes it. And to Spoonie's point, saying I'm totally fine with it. I think you have to live with some of the step backs. I'm afraid of him timing up bigs for easy twos. It's annoying when they go in, but I think we can outscore them over 7 games if he's launching 8 to 9 of those a game. This does feel like a shot that a lot of teams are and should be willing to live with. I mean, Luka Doncic can get hot. You saw it in the Mavs in the Timberwolves game 7. But if this is the result every single possession, I don't think Joe Mazzulla would complain unless, I mean, like you said, you have to adjust eventually if he's making a bunch of them. But
unless
Celtics
it's
have
literally
really-
the result.
What do you mean?
Finding the bottom of the net every single time.
Yeah, but he's not going to shoot 100% on step backs in a series. That just doesn't happen. Like no one does that.
That's the joke.
Yeah, so it's fine. Like you can live with some of this. And credit to Porzingis,
Sure.
he didn't let him get by him, which is a good thing. But
I do think that is a big key in this situation too. Like if he is able to get past Porzingis, clearly he didn't see anything he liked on this possession, which is why he ends up taking the 3. But if he gets past him, your defense gets put into a flux with somebody that is making quality decisions with the basketball in their hands in the paint. It's not what you want. It's not a good way to get stops. This is the best shot in this situation, like you said, like Spoonie said. It goes in, it sucks, but Luka, not the most efficient three-point shooter throughout this playoff run. He's hovering right around 34%. So, like you said, it's not going to be 100%. It'll probably be a lot closer to his playoff percent.
yeah, and then I mean, to the point we made in the other video, there's going to be times where the Mavs just find offense because they have 2 of the greatest decision makers on the planet. So on this play, Derek White's guarding Kyrie. Drew is on Luka. Brown is on Josh Green in the corner. Porzingis is on Lively, and Tatum is on, I believe, PJ Washington. Kyrie drives in on Derek White a little bit, gets to just above the free throw line. Derek Lively sets him a screen. He fights through. Celtics help recover. Almost get the steal. Kyrie just gets it back. Drew Holiday is now guarding Luka on the logo. Derek Lively sets a high pick and roll for him. Luka finds space, gets in, and then Luka gets the pass to Lively on the easy roll. They played great defense for a long time, like Spoonie said here. 20 seconds of great defense. KP thinks Luka's going to shoot, and the pass is zipping by his head immediately for an easy 2. This just goes back to like discipline. You have to trust your defense. You have to trust your defense. There's no reason KP needed to help here at the 3-point line. Drew Holiday had him. And even if he had gotten by Drew on the right, KP could have just dropped back and met him at the rim. At the same time, Tatum could have done a better job helping over in time because Derek Lively wouldn't have had time to pass to PJ Washington in the corner after he caught it. But this is, I mean, guarding Luka Doncic is all about discipline because like we've talked about time and time again, he likes to slow down the pace. He likes to play at his own pace. And when he's doing that, the Celtics have to trust the game plan they put in place, and jumping at anything is going to result in an easy bucket for Dallas.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Porzingis decision to jump out. He does a really good job for the first half of that action. Does a great job hedging the screen. Looks like he's about to get back, so Doncic cannot make the pass that he eventually makes, but then commits to trying to defend a shot that might have happened, but Holiday was there. He was on the offhand, but he was there. So, like you said, the overcommitment to Luka is something that might hurt you, especially if it's on a shot like this, which, discussing on the last play, is not his most efficient look throughout the playoffs. I know the Mavs fans were here in the comments kind of mad saying, like, you don't understand, like, he can get hot real quick, and he absolutely can. Like, watch Minnesota Game 5. It was brutal to watch the Timberwolves just get killed. But at the same time, it's something with all of the different things he can do with the basketball, you have to be like, this is my favorite one to see. I would rather see this than anything else. And also, if you're a Mavs fan and you're here, shout out to you. I don't think we're being too mean to your team. Mavs, thank you for coming by.
They've had a nice run. It's sort of a pick your poison thing with Luka. Like he's gonna do what he does. You just have to pick what you want him to do that is going to hurt you the least. Another thing, Spoonie put on Twitter. Shout out Spoonie again. W Spoonie on Twitter. He's a beast. We're just he put all these clips together for us, so we appreciate him. His thing is here. We're probably gonna see a lot of drop against Luka pick and rolls. JB does a good job of helping out from the dunker spot here. This is everything that I want to see when I talk about put KP and Drew Holiday on the non-shooters. This is it, and this is the real like crux of the Mavs lineups they put out here. You have Derek Lively in the corner. He can't shoot, so you can help off that. You just have to be very aware and very careful of the backside roll to the rim because he can't shoot. But if Jaylen Brown helps in too far, he can run to the rim and he will get a lob because Luka will find him there. So that's the balance. On this play, Luka gets the ball, top of the key. PJ Washington fake screening one way, screens the other. So Drew Holiday is trailing Luka. Kristaps is on him in drop. Close drop, though, and then he goes to trap a little bit. Luka finds the pass to PJ Washington, but Jaylen Brown is able to help out from the corner, tip the ball out of PJ Washington's hands, and get the stop here. This works. And the Celtics do a great job of pressuring Luka on this play. But it's not always going to work because if this isn't Derek Lively and Derek Lively is PJ Washington and PJ Washington is Derek Lively, that's an easy pass to the corner for a three, right? So it's all about being aware of who you're guarding when you're trying to stop Luka because it's all about personnel. What is it? KYP, know your personnel. And I think that's important in every series, but especially in a series when there's such a drastic talent drop off from the two stars to the role guys, you really have to know what each role guy can do. Like down to PJ Washington makes this many shots from the right corner, but he's not as good in the left corner. So I can help out from the left. Like that's not a real thing, but like you really have to know this Mavs defense because you have to know where you can help off to stop Luka because there is no stopping Luka. So any small advantage you can get by leaving someone else open or sagging off somebody else or living with another shot, you have to do because that's how good Luka Doncic is. And that's what Jaylen Brown manages to do in this clip because he knows Derek Lively is not a shooter. He knows that Luka Doncic doesn't have an angle to throw a lob. And so he goes in, helps and pokes away from PJ Washington. So it's going to be a lot of knowing your personnel and playing things the smart way.
And there are going to be opportunities to do that in the series. If you pick your poison right, you're going to have situations like this one where you have almost an extra defender on the floor because you don't have to worry about Lively standing where he's standing on this play. The problem will come, like you mentioned, if Dallas actually plays their offense right and don't have the guy that doesn't shoot threes in the corner. But it's something we've seen teams in this playoffs take advantage of plenty of times. If a team like Dallas is going to run a 5-out with Lively who's not shooting any threes in the corner, you can absolutely dare them to give him the ball and make him make a decision. Oddly enough, Dallas did that in the Oklahoma City series. Josh Giddey was getting the Grant Williams treatment, and he didn't know what to do about it. He didn't want to shoot threes. He's a little bit of a different situation than Lively, who's just a pick-and-roll, lob threat, rim runner guy. But at the same time, neither one of them wants to put the ball up from beyond the arc. So if you as a team can decide how to maximize this for yourself, to the best of your ability, you're going to have a much easier time defending Dallas than you would if you're just not aware of it. To your point, knowing your personnel is going to be extremely important in this series. And how many more clips are there before I empty my clip of thoughts?
We can look at some of Luka's buckets and assists against the Celtics too, but like if you want to give some thoughts now, that's fine.
Yeah, so one thing I want to see from the Celtics in this series, I heard CJ McCollum talk about this on Pardon My Take today, and I kind of looked into it because I was like, oh, that's interesting. In this OKC series, OKC lost in 6 games, but they did a very good job of defending Dallas. Dallas only scored 106 points per game in this series. And if you really want to look at it, the reason why OKC didn't win this series was because they had too many lights or too bright guys. I just mentioned Josh Giddey. Didn't want to shoot the ball from the court in. J-Dub didn't play very well in this series, right? Like he's somebody who is a key piece of what they were doing on offense throughout the regular season on their way to the 1 seed. And then the postseason rolls around and they're in a big spot against Dallas and he's not giving them anything. What did OKC do to make things different for the Mavericks? Not even difficult, just different. What they did was really give a lot of attention to Kyrie. Kyrie took 14 shots per game in this series. For the playoffs as a whole, he's sitting right around 17 and a half. He's down 3.5 shots per game. What does that mean? They had to rely on PJ Washington to shoot 13.7 shots a game If you round up, it's the same as Kyrie. And then Derrick Jones Jr. saw his shot attempts jump up nearly 3 per game. You are by far putting more responsibility in the hands of role guys that have done a good job this postseason handling it, but traditionally are guys that you should be okay with having to be offensive pillars for the Mavs. And again, it limited Dallas's scoring to only 106 per game. And OKC didn't lose that series on the defensive end. They couldn't convert. They couldn't make the shots. They had too many guys that weren't ready for the moment. The Celtics, though not perfect this playoffs on offense, they've had games where you're like scratching your head. They have far more guys that can put the ball in the basket. I've said it before, building up to this finals. They have 5 guys that can give you 25 points and you wouldn't be shocked. They should be able to handle somewhere around 106 points per game from Dallas. Not saying it's guaranteed to happen. OKC is a good defensive team too. Lou Dort, Shea, Jalen Williams, all are quality defenders. Chet giving you that rim protection that Kristaps should be able to give you with the athleticism and length.
Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 3 million members. It is the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. You just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats and watch all the winnings roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000 with basketball, hockey, college basketball entries today on Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app. One of our favorite picks here at the How About Them Celtics podcast is the Drew Holiday blocks. It's usually 0.5. He just needs more than 0.5 blocks. That means 1 Drew Holiday block. And that pick is in the bag. Prize Picks is really simple to play. I can make my picks and submit my entry in less than 60 seconds. Download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, download the app today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
They have similar tools to the Celtics team. And it was something I was looking for going into that series because when we talked about it, I was like, it just feels like OKC has too many guys. And they should have, but they just didn't show up. Mm-hmm. So there's your little defensive take from me, but not really me, CJ McCollum, but I aggregated it.
Yeah, I mean, like we said before, like Joe said, like there's no really stopping all the time, but you can limit what they can bring to the table, and that's true for Kyrie. That's true for Luka. That's true for the entire Mavs team, because you really got to pick your spots. This clip is more Luka pick and roll. You're going to see so much of this during the series. PJ Washington has KP on him, so obviously Luka is going to bring him the action here, or maybe not. Nope. Yep. Okay, here we go. So Luka passes the ball to PJ Washington at the top of the key. PJ Washington has Porzingis on him. Josh Green comes to set a screen for Luka Doncic, who has Derrick White on him. Jason Tatum is guarding Josh Green. Josh Green sets this weird non-screen to get the Celtics to switch. Jason Tatum switches on to Luka. Him and Porzingis can't figure out who's doing what. Luka splits the difference and gets it right to PJ Washington in the paint. You can't have indecision. We looked at this in the JB thing, or the other KP clip. I mean, KP stays a little too long. I don't know if that's what happens here. Here, it just seems like him and JT don't communicate fast enough. And as soon as he rolls, as soon as PJ Washington rolls, Luka has the pass in there, and you're cooked. You've got to be quicker than this. This is why the Celtics play drop defense, because if you don't play drop defense against the Mavs, bang, you're getting hit for a pass in the paint. And then another one here. This actually might be the same clip. Nope, this is a different clip. It's just another Luka Doncic.
Jack, if you're Boston, do you run zone in this series at all?
You could, but I think Luka and Kyrie are too good of shot makers to give them all that space on the floor. I think you can throw it at them, and I think you should throw out a bunch of different looks at them, but I think playing straight up drop defense and pressuring him will force the Mavs to let other guys shoot shots, which I think is what you want if you're the Celtics.
I agree.
So I think there's that. PJ Washington has the ball again, has it at the top of the key. Drew is on Luka. KP is on PJ Washington. Again, it's the same play. Josh Green sets a screen. Jason Tatum doesn't switch it this time. And this time, Drew Holiday and Porzingis play it well enough where KP can get back, and then by that time, JB is over helping from the corner, but it doesn't matter because nobody picked up his guy. This is going to be bad. This is why you play drop defense right here. As much as drop defense has been bad at times, like the reason you play drop defense is because if you don't play drop defense, Luka is going to find the open man regardless of where he is. And Jalen, even when he defends it well, nobody's there to get the other guy. So I really think if there was ever a series to play drop defense, it's this one. And this is a big reason why. And I think the drop defense, it's not going to be able to stop Luka necessarily. Nothing will, but it's going to be able to slow him down a decent amount. And that's the closest thing to stopping you can get.
Yeah, I mean, this defensive possession is one Porzingis read away from being a great rotation. I don't really think it's possible for him to be like, oh, Jalen's helping me with my back.
They called a foul too.
Okay, they did. But
yeah.
Still, right? If he is being communicated with by Jalen that, hey, I'm coming over for this lob, you go get mine, this would have been fine. It was right there. They were one step away from really having everybody covered. Look, right there, if Jalen's like, I got it, go corner.
I don't think there was necessarily enough time. Like Luka gets this pass off so quick. Like Porzingis is trailing back to get PJ Washington. Even if like Jaylen Brown yells out, like what? When would he be able to yell it out? Is the thing. Like he starts here.
I got your switch. As soon as he
yells
moves
it here, but he won't. He doesn't have time to get there. He's backpedaling. Like that pass is there too quick for him to get over to Lively. I don't know. It's nitpicky, but it's like it's so tough to rotate that quick, especially when you're backpedaling and guarding one of the best decision makers in the world.
It's easier when you're facing, whoever it is you're looking to switch with. So like if Porzingis for whatever reason has facing the rim, not that he should have been, Jalen could be like, go to the corner. But even here, like when that ball's in the air and Jalen's going over, there is a period of time where it's floating and he can be like, go get corner.
I just don't think there's time.
It's a nitpick. Again, that's what we're doing. We're watching film. It's just a thought.
Okay.
If I would fix anything, because like realistically, Jalen gets the deflection. The only thing is they just needed the last step, whatever it is. Like, say there's no foul, which there might not be in the finals the way they've called some of this shit.
Yeah, I don't know. We can look at a few of Luka's buckets too, but like we're not gonna like nitpick all of these and go over all of these, but just to show like the way he scores and the way he runs offenses, he's gonna get a lot of pick and roll. He's gonna get in the paint, and at the end of the day, like there's gonna be that. Also, Luka tries to call like if he's looking for a foul on this, you're gonna have a rude awakening, brother. Like, come on, man.
He wants every possession, every time.
Yeah, always. But listen, Luka's gonna get his buckets. All the Celtics can do is stay as connected as they can. You're going to have to live with a lot of those. But again, this goes back to our conversation the other day. Like when you're living with step back jumpers and long twos and long shots, like the rebounds are going to go everywhere. And so it has to be a team effort on the glass as well. And everything goes into quote unquote stopping Luka Doncic. It is, rebounding the ball after he takes a tough shot. It's forcing him into taking those shots. It is forcing him to make a pass to a player he doesn't necessarily want to have the ball. It's pressuring him at the point of attack, but not giving him enough space to get the ball off. Like he's going to make all those step backs. He's going to take a lot of those step backs. But if you're the Celtics, like you live with that long enough where you can stick with it with your offense, because I mean, scoring your own points is also a big part of stopping Luka Doncic. But like you almost have to live with some of these tough shots that he's inevitably going to take and make, because if you're not living with those tough shots, you're going to give up the easy ones, and the easy ones are definitely going in, right? Like look at that shot he just took. But you gotta live with some of this stuff, and a big part of quote unquote stopping Luka is just living with tough shots, and you kind of have to go from there.
He really wasn't great in this game either. Like they did a pretty good job making him uncomfortable. All of these shots are pretty difficult as he gets a wide open layup. But seriously, one thing I've complained about to you numerous times, Jack, whether it's been the few poor stretches we've seen from the Celtics in the playoffs or things we've seen in the regular season where they just go cold. When you're watching them and you're like, wow, everything they're doing on offense is difficult, while the other team, let's just say the Denver game, right? The one in Denver, even though they made it close, even though they came back, everything in that second half was difficult for Boston, and Jokic was getting his guys wide open layups. If Luka has to take all these difficult shots like you're saying, you have to feel pretty good about your chances, even if he is a tough shot maker. That's something that you can leave up to fate. And we're on the same page when it comes to this. You talked about the 3 earlier when we were like, you have to live with that. It's better than getting Lively or PJ Washington or Daniel Gafford a free dunk.
Mm-hmm. And I think another thing is too, like we're talking about, oh, let other players shoot. I think another way to go about it is like, look at this play right here. Like, there's no time on the shot clock too, but everyone is staying home. Like Derrick is staying home on Kyrie. Tatum only helps over off Exum because he knows the time's left. But if you're staying home on everybody, you're gonna force Luka to take and make tough shots, and he's gonna make some of them. But like, as much as you'd rather Derrick Jones Jr., who's not on the floor right now, because I mean that's another factor. Derrick Jones Jr. emerges as part of this rotation later in the season and in the playoffs. But if you're gonna live with Luka taking these, then that's almost better than giving wide open shots to other guys. And so I think there's that balance too. It's such a complicated thing guarding Luka Doncic, and you're like, duh, because obviously he's one of the best players in the world. This is the clip we saw beforehand, but like, look at everyone stay home. There's 12 seconds left in the shot clock, but everyone is staying home. They're comfortable living with these one-on-ones because they know that Luka can take and make the shot, and he does make the shot, right? But you'd rather live with this than sending a double. The Celtics don't double. I forget who I was listening to. I think it was Hoop Collective or Low Post. Like Celtics never double team. Like they're comfortable with living in one-on-one matchups because if you double team, you're going to give up an open shot. And they know that if Luka does drive, they have guys ready to help and recover, and the rotations are good once you get to that spot. But you're going to live with the shot. Like that's a tough shot and he makes it, but you're going to live with that every time, right? Again, Jaylen Brown guarding him here. Derek White gets tripped up. That's unlucky. And then Luka misses it anyways because he had to settle for a tough shot. And then at the same time, like obviously Luka does more than just score the basketball. Like he's gonna end up dishing out passes, right? You're gonna give up assists. You're gonna give up passes. Like Luka's gonna probably average like 10 or 38 and 8 in this series. And that's not like, oh my God, he played well. That's like what he averaged in the regular season. Like that's normal for Luka Doncic. And so it's tough to sit here and say, I mean, the title of this video is how the Celtics can stop Luka Doncic. There's no truly completely stopping Luka from doing anything, but there is stopping him from being the best version of himself. And I do think that is possible. I do think there are ways for him to not be the best version of himself. Right. And you see Xavier Tillman in the lineup here, like different stuff has happened for the Celtics and Mavs this season, right? Like Derrick Jones Jr. is a part of the rotation. Xavier Tillman's not going to be, but staying home on these guys, like what's the point of Drew Holiday helping there? Like why didn't he just get back? Like you've got to be disciplined. And if the Celtics can stop Luka from being the best Luka, I think that's going to be enough to win the series, especially with their offense and how they can, string together a connected defensive game.
Yeah. I mean, they did a really good job. I know it's regular season stats, but everybody not named Luka and Derek Lively kind of struggled against Boston. Kyrie, 42%. PJ Washington, 44%. Josh Green, 37%. All these other guys, just nobody really jumps off the page. The Celtics are just well equipped to defend. They are. They are a deep team. Their defense doesn't waver when you bring in different guys. Even Pritchard has a bulldogness about him. Sam Hauser's a better defender than everybody thinks. If he could make some threes, that'd be fantastic. But he doesn't really just jump all over the place on defense. He's pretty disciplined. So they should be able to have enough bodies to make these guys uncomfortable. Whether or not it's going to be a perfect science is up to, we're going to see. But
all right. Next thing is something from Jake Fisher, friend of the pod. Shout out Jake Fisher. He put out an article on Yahoo Sports talking about a potential KP Kyrie trade that the Celtics and Knicks almost pulled off. I'll read the tidbit from his article here. Come late January 2019, when New York's front office began to quietly pursue deals to move on from Porzingis, the Celtics and Knicks even had tangible dialogue about swapping Irving for the 7-2 sharpshooter. League sources told Yahoo Sports before the Mavericks swooped in and sent a package headlined by 2 first-round picks. Also mentioned that the Celtics had interest in moving Porzingis at last year's deadline. And so it's the connections between these two teams runs even deeper, which is very interesting to look at.
It was an awesome write-up. He had lots of great stuff, kind of did a little timeline stuff between both of them. It is kind of funny that both Porzingis and Drew Holiday have been guys that the Celtics have just coveted for forever. When they made the Holiday trade last summer, Brad Stevens was on the podium. He's like, every year I was just like, how can we get this guy Holiday? Well, looks like they've been looking to get Porzingis for quite some time. Also, this new info about like a interest in getting rid of Kyrie at that time, I feel like it kind of says a lot about what was going on within the team. Not necessarily even it was a him problem, but it really wasn't a secret that he was probably not going to be back. Hey, gang, let me tell you a little something about Game Time. The NBA playoffs have arrived. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Who doesn't want to get in on the fun? With Game Time, you can experience it with your own eyes. Get yourself great seats to games with even greater prices. That's right. You can save when getting your tickets with Game Time. It's an authorized ticket marketplace of the NBA, which makes getting those playoff tickets even faster and easier. Plus, the prices on Game Time usually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. Who doesn't love to save a little bit of money? I certainly do. I used Game Time back in March when I took the lady to a game. We went to see the Celtics play our Pistons, and it was great. I could look and see what the seat view would be just using the app. Didn't have to be surprised when I showed up. Plus, you do get those last-minute deals. They have the flash deals and zone deals. Zone deals, which you can choose a section of the arena and let Game Time choose those seats. You'll save a little bit of money that way. You can download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Again, that's code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
Mm-hmm. It makes sense. It makes sense. It felt like it was a messy divorce at the time, and people have moved on, at least internally in the NBA and inside the organization, relatively speaking. But it is fun to see that the Celtics almost had KP years and years and years ago. But it's almost better they got him later now in his career when the team was developed as a final piece rather than a core. Like, okay, let's have you like. It feels like they could more easily mold him into what they already do now than building around his play style and changing the way the Jays play back then. So I think I'm glad the way it happened.
Yeah, and to build on that, he went on the Reddick pod and talked about his time in Dallas earlier this season, and he reflects on it and he admits to being immature and not necessarily understanding what works best for the team. Granted, if he came to the Celtics, we probably would have seen more out of Porzingis than, hey, just go stand in the corner and be ready. But at the same time, having been through all of the journey that he has had throughout his NBA career at this point, he is more willing to come into a team like the Celtics and sacrifice because he understands, oh, yeah, playing on a team like Washington where we're not going to win anything sucks. Being a part of a Dallas team where I didn't feel appreciated doesn't feel great. Oh, yeah, I was in New York and everybody was talking about Melo and I really wasn't there to win. Oh, yeah, no, I'll come in here and I'll take a lesser role. That's fine. As long as we're competing, it's more fun to try and win basketball games and sit out here and play for me. So I think having that understanding makes him a far better Celtic than he might have been in 2019. And there would have been all this expectation that came along with it. I mean, granted, he still got that, having had Smart be the guy that got traded, somebody that was so beloved here. But having Kyrie be traded at that time would have been a really weird entry for Porzingis, I feel.
Definitely. I think it happened for the best. Speaking of Kyrie, Kyrie spoke, I think it was today, spoke to Mavs media, and somebody asked him like about his return to TD Garden those years ago, and he basically admitted like, yeah, I handled it bad. Like that was on me.
I wish you didn't bring this up. I saw it and I wanted to save it
for what, a video.
But no, it is good content. Like,
do you want to save it for the video? I can cut this out.
No, don't save it. We're out now. We'll be fine. We got stuff. Maybe we'll do the villain. I don't know. We'll find something tomorrow. We got plenty of stuff. But this is a great quote, and we'll talk about it after.
So this is via Grant Afseth on Twitter, who writes for Mavericks SI. We can just watch the clip and the question, so it's the full context, so I don't have to like explain it because it's not nearly as effective. So I'll turn it up in post, but here it is.
You've talked a lot about kind of the spiritual journey you've been on, and getting to this point of happiness, protecting your peace. There are people in Boston who don't let go of the past, and you kind of know what's going to come your way in terms of animosity from the fan base. How do you approach that? How do you handle that, going on in this stage?
I think I'm better at consolidating kind of the emotions now, or being aware of what it's going to be like. We call it animosity, we call it hate, we call it, it's going to be hell in Boston. I mean, there are real live circumstances going on in the world that are bigger than the basketball kind of competitive side of things and answering those questions. But I will say, last time in Boston, I don't think that was the best, not this regular season, but when we played in the playoffs and everyone saw me flip off the birds and kind of lose my shit a little bit. That wasn't a great reflection of who I am and how I like to compete on a high level. It wasn't a great reflection on my end towards the next generation on what it means to control your emotions in that type of environment, no matter what people are yelling at you. I'm built for these moments to be able to handle circumstances like that. And I've been able to grow since then. So, of course, it's going to be a hectic environment, but I'm looking forward to it. And I see it as a healthy relationship to have with the fans. I almost think about Gladiator, just win the crowd over. It's good to hear Garden silent when you're playing well. They still respect great basketball. So regardless of, the attention that's being paid to what it's going to be like on my end, I have a group to lead that's going to be looking to me for a voice of peace and to be able to control what I can control and also help them through it. So I'll take the brunt of it, of all the yells and stuff like that and all the remarks, but I've been able to grow since then and acknowledge that, I just can handle things better, especially when I want to put majority of my energy towards playing well. I can't just be getting into it with fans like that, even though it may be fun at times, but it's a waste of energy. It's a waste of my time. And it's also a waste of my talent trying to answer questions from the past that people have. And, people are going to bring up the record and all the extra stuff. Again, there's idle time in between. So you see the media pundits doing their normal thing. It's cool. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the challenge on the court against the Boston Celtics and being able to lead my guys.
Good response from Kyrie. Very good response from Kyrie. Even you, who I know vehemently dislikes Kyrie, that is exactly how you should handle it. And I do think, I've said this before, at the time of when everything went down with Kyrie, he was dealing with a lot of personal stuff. His grandfather passed away. He admitted he was not in a good space. And I feel like since then, you've seen him get back to normal, and his interpersonal growth has been a big thing. I think of it back to I read this article from Julia Poe of the Chicago Tribune about Kobe White, and it was Kobe White lost his father, and I forget if it was before COVID, but basically he was he wasn't himself for years. He was playing and he was fine, and you could see that he was a fine player, but this year he I forget if he talked with his mom or something, but something finally connected this year, and obviously he had this great season, but he's enjoying the game of basketball again. And the point is, I think it can take people a long time to get back to where they were before. And I think, I don't know, I have no hate towards Kyrie as a person. You can dislike the way that things ended in Boston, but I think it's very clear that he has just grown as a person, and I don't know, it feels like he is in a much better place in Dallas, which is good for him.
There are parts of that answer where he nails it, right? I thought he was awesome. I'm doing the villain article for Celtics Blog. I thought he was awesome as a villain. Played it perfectly. That 2022 Nets series was the boiling point for all the beef because he just bought in. He said, fuck all of you. You had the video of him in the tunnel telling the guy to suck his dick. You had him flipping off the fans. You had him doing the crying thing. And it's kind of funny that he was talking about that. And he was like, yeah, it doesn't let me be my best self. He had 39 points in that game. He was really good. Then he sucked for the rest of the series because he tried to get himself under control. I think if I'm Kyrie, I think the best growth he could have is not caring if he's the villain or not. He still cares. He clearly cares. He came out and was when the reporter asked him about animosity, he made sure he was no, these people are awful. It's hate. And I don't know if it's.
That's what you got from that clip?
It was part of it, yeah. There were parts of that clip I thought he sounded like a prick.
Really?
Yeah, some of it I was oh, this is why we don't like this guy.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't tell if you're doing a bit.
No, I'm not. Some of it I was oh, okay, this is why, this is some of the things that, annoy people. Him immediately swatting in upgrading from animosity to hate to try and deflect onto the fan base is step one of just being a prick.
Where? I'm
The first thing he says.
Okay, just calm the fuck down. Just because I disagree with you doesn't even mean to yell at me. Let me re-listen to it.
There are people in Boston who don't let go of the past, and you kind of know what's going to come your way in terms of animosity from the fan base. How do you approach that? How do you handle that, going on at this stage?
I think I'm better at consolidating kind of the emotions now, or being aware of what it's going to be like. We call it animosity, we call it hate, we call it,
there you go.
It's going to be hell in Boston. I mean, there are real live circumstances going on.
That's just not how I heard it. I think he was just saying like, yeah, we call it all these things, but like at the end of the day, it is what it is. Like, and then he goes on to say like, yeah, of course I get it. Like the fans are gonna be the fans, and like that's why they care and they understand basketball. So like respect. Like I don't think
he's
he meant
like,
it.
He's like, yeah, I'm gonna win him over. Yeah, you're gonna win them over, Kyrie. They're gonna love you by the end of the game.
I didn't even get a sniff of that. I don't understand. Like I get it, and if that's what you hear, like I'm not gonna fight you on it. But I didn't even hear like a whiff of like fuck.
I can understand the this is a twofold clip. It's not there's gray area in this. It's not completely he's being a prick. It's not. I don't think it's completely he's like past it. There is a part of this that still bugs him, and there's a reason why he's like. Part of the answer he gives is like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. Quit asking me.
Okay, sure.
He literally says, Jack, he says, I am not wanting to give my energy or my talent, take away from it by giving attention to this. That's what he said. He basically told the guy, like, quit asking me about this.
But what's like saying I don't want like to give my energy to this? Like I have better things to do. Like, okay, yeah, I agree. You do have better things to do. Like it doesn't matter. I think the difference between us listening to it is I don't think it matters at all, and I don't give a shit about it, and you do. And I think that's the disconnect because I think he truly like I think he understands the fans are gonna dislike him or hate him or whatever word you want to use. And I just don't think I think he's like, whatever, I'm gonna accept it. I'm gonna do whatever it is, but like I get why they do it, but I don't really care anymore. And that like, yeah, if I'm going into a place and people don't like me, what else am I going to do other than say, okay, cool, whatever. All I can do is not care about it or else it's going to affect me mentally. Like, of course, like, duh.
Well, there's some people that listen, you know yourself, right? So like if you or him or whoever is going to a place and knows that people don't like them, and if you buy into it, it's going to affect you. Yes. But it's funny to say that out loud when it's like, we talk about Luka, and before this series, there are literally people like on Celtics Twitter. It's like, don't buy the Luka sucks shirts because he's going to take it personal and kill you. And everybody's different. But to act like that's not possible. And also, when he was playing into the villain stuff, he played great. He had 39 points. When he stepped unlucky, he had 39 points in that game poorly, too.
But then he also played bad.
He played poorly when he'd let it get to him. And he was like, well, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Because after the game one of that series, he got ripped on TV, which I guess you could tie back to part of the reason is he was dealing with the negative feedback for his actions. But when he was actually out there embracing it, he was all in. He was a great villain. To his credit, a great villain. And he played the role fantastic, and he played a great game. And he played a great game in the series before. When the game he stepped unlucky, he had 39 points. He was great. It was when he kind of let like what everybody was saying about how he reacted to it get to him. Like, Jack, can you remember in the games 2 through 4 of the 2022 series, anything from him that was like remotely close to what was happening in game 1? He became very much more reserved. I don't think there was like much more giving it back to the crowd. I think he kind of dialed it back. And I don't care if he plays well or not. Like, I'm not like, oh, Kyrie, yeah, like be mean to everybody so it motivates you. This was just, I don't know. It was a quote where I felt like he couldn't decide which angle he wanted to take. He went in there wanting to like squash it and just kind of take the high road. And he did a good job of it at times, but then like you can kind of see like parts of it start to sneak back up. Like, I don't know. Some of it was dickish to me. Not all of it. There were parts of it that I thought he did a great job.
I didn't hear that at all. Interesting. Okay.
And that's fine. Like, I think we both agree. Like, I fall into the fan category more than you do. And like, that's fine.
All right. Anyways, next thing, Celtics coaches or the coaching staff, I guess, some stuff going on. Mark Stein reporting the Celtics are, quote, exploring the idea of having Jeff Van Gundy join the staff next season. In addition, the Bucks are looking to bring in Sam Cassell and his assistant Gary Wolfel is that The Athletic? Do you know what that is?
He is just a longtime reporter. He has no association in his bio. I did look.
Rumors persist. The Bucks want to hire Celtics assistant Sam Cassell, and I'm hearing the Bucks are willing to make him the highest paid assistant coach in the association to get it done. Cassell's been a part of Doc Rivers' staff plenty of times. So could get some moving parts on the coaching staff next season is what this is reading.
I feel like if you take the Doc part out of it, it doesn't make any sense for Cassell to go somewhere else.
I think that's the whole part of it, though, unfortunately. I had the initial thing until I read the Doc part, and then I was like, oh.
Well, that's like, because I put that part in. I was like, why would he go? It doesn't make any sense. Like, he's with the Celtics. Celtics are playing great. It's not a mess here. He's probably going to be the lead assistant. But yeah, he was on Doc's staff in LA for a while. He was on the staff in Philly. It wouldn't be the most surprising thing if he went to Milwaukee, but that would suck.
Mm-hmm. It would suck. I don't know if he will. I like to think he wouldn't, because I think he's formed a pretty good relationship with Tatum and all these guys. And being back in Boston is interesting. But it does make sense that he'd want to be on Doc's staff again. So I guess you could understand that. The Jeff Van Gundy thing is fine. I don't know if I like it too much. I kind of like him in the role he's in. It doesn't really. I don't know.
What? Do we even know what he actually does?
Just advisory.
Hanging out.
Advises the team, advises Brad Stevens, advises the coaches. That's like he's there without actually being there. And I think that's
you think he's too old school to be a contributing factor on a coaching staff?
Not necessarily. And obviously, I don't know Jeff Van Gundy. I don't know anything about this, so all this could be totally off base. But like, it feels like putting a long tenured guy in that spot, you run even the slightest risk of like he wants to be the head coach. He wants to be the top guy again, and like.
And also, you have the angle of, oh, he's the puppet master. Like, Joe Mazzulla actually doesn't know anything. It's actually Jeff Van Gundy coaching this team.
If they win a title, then it'll be hard to question Joe anymore or as much. And so,
you ready?
I know, I get it, but still.
Oh no, it was Charles Lee and Sam Cassell who went to the Bucks, and now they have to have Van Gundy go in there to help him coach. I can hear it right now.
Exactly. So maybe avoid it for that reason, but I don't know. I think I'm more of a fan of just like letting it breathe. I think he's fine in the role he's in, and I think that's a good thing. I think
one thing about Joe I'll say is I feel like he's grown a lot this year as a coach. He's really developed an identity for himself. He's a big mindset guy. We've heard plenty of it at all the press conferences, and his guys are buying into it. They believe. I feel like they can afford to lose assistant coaches now. They were important heading into this season. It was important to get Joe and give him the right support, especially after the playoffs last year where he got killed. But now it feels like he has a little bit more going on. And I'm not saying it's not important to replace those guys. I'm sure they're going to do a fine job at it. But for the time being, I don't think it's like panic button. Oh my God, Charles Lee's gone. Oh my God, Sam Cassell's gone. Though they will be missed. It's a different Mazzulla than last year.
I agree. I think he'll be fine. Next thing, Derrick Jones Jr. apparently almost signed with the Celtics this past summer. This is from, do you know where
His
this is from?
Availability today.
Oh, he talked about this in media availability. He said, quote, "I'm glad I made a decision I didn't came here." He said, "Hell yeah, way better. I could have accepted my player option in Chicago and still been on a team that's not in the playoffs right now. I just decided to bet on myself, and I took less money to come here, but the money wasn't the problem. I just wanted to have the opportunity to be on the floor, showcase what I'm able to do, and it happened for me. So could have been in Boston, could have been there, but it feels like if Derrick Jones Jr. was in Boston, he would just be O'Shea Brissett." And
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah,
That's
him
so
being
funny,
Dallas
hasn't it?
gave him the chance to actually play. And
Good for him.
He's played, and yeah, exactly. Good for him. He's been.
I hope he plays awful for the next 2 weeks. Be great.
Would be cool. Would be pretty cool if that was a thing. So would be nice. All right, let's go to the email here.
Pull it up.
See what y'all had to say. I believe we have 3 emails. So let's check those out now. Reminder, as always, you can email us at hbtcpod@gmail.com. Get all your thoughts in. First one, Michael Hilly. Rank these players. Jesus Christ. What's popping, guys? Hope you guys are doing awesome. It's super long until these finals starts. I figured a fun little game might be good to help pass the time. Rank 1 through 10, 1 being the best, 10 being the worst. 10 starters on the Celtics and Mavs. This isn't my ranking. Just each player by position.
Okay. I like this.
Kyrie, D. White, Luka, Drew, PJ Washington, Jaylen Brown, DJ, Tatum, Lively, Kristaps. I think it's pretty obvious, but I'm curious to hear your takes on the matter. Keep up the good work. I enjoy the pod, even though I don't get the chance to watch live much anymore because of my work schedule. Thank you, Michael. Do we want to do Lively or Gafford? Because Lively comes off the bench, but Lively is, I think, the better center. So it doesn't
Whichever
matter.
you prefer.
We can go
I don't
Lively. That's what Michael said. So we can go Lively.
Okay,
All right,
so
one.
one's Luka.
One is Luka.
Tatum Brown.
Tatum.
Jalen's been
Probably.
excellent this playoffs.
He
just
has.
won the MVP.
So is Kyrie, though, and I think it's closer than Celtics fans want to admit. But I would probably put Brown and then Kyrie. Even though I'll put it this way, I wouldn't complain if you wanted to put Kyrie above him, but I'll go with Jalen.
Kyrie's next. He's fourth.
Yeah. So okay, Luka, Tatum, Brown, Kyrie, but Kyrie and Jalen are probably.
This is where it gets fun.
Are we doing
you
right
putting
now?
there?
Or are we doing for the playoffs? Or are we doing in general?
Do right now.
Okay,
Heading into
well,
the final.
It's tough with Kristaps because he hasn't played.
I'm putting
I'll
Kristaps
go-
last of the Celtics guys right now.
Okay, then I'll do Drew, Derrick, Kristaps.
Okay, that's what I had. But I thought you might put Derrick higher.
No.
And
Drew's
then the
my
rest
last
of the Mavs.
Then yeah, PJ or probably Lively, PJ, Derrick Jones because Lively's awesome.
Okay.
But there's a big gap between the next three Mavs starters.
And that's what should make you feel good heading into this series. Because even if you throw some of the Celtics bench guys, like, I don't know,
think
Jack, do you put Horford above any of these guys on the
Yes.
Mavs? Is
Yeah,
he
above-
after all the Celtics, or does he like
No,
make it-
Lively's better. I think Lively's above him. I would put at least right now. Just overall.
Pritchard?
No. Maybe Derrick Jones. But I
Hauser?
don't think so. No. No. We're stretching it now. No way. Thank you, Michael. Next
Thanks,
email
Michael.
from Colton Flat. Hey, Sam and Jack. Hope things are good. Thank you for the downtime content. It's always good to listen. We appreciate you. I just came here to say that I'm hoping things go our way in the finals so that after it, Jordan Walsh, J-Dub, as I like to call him, that's just not him, or Svi can have an interview exactly like that 08 Brian Scal post-finals interview.
Oh,
What do y'all think? Thanks, guys, again. Let's hope they win this thing. That's going to be Drew Peterson. It's going to be
Who would
Hey,
actually be the best?
no one's
guy?
gonna remember to do the no one's gonna remember. I'm gonna say I
Scal.
started in 10 years.
Yeah, I feel like O'Shea.
What's that? Oh
Yeah.
yeah. For the vlog.
Yeah.
No one's
Or
gonna care.
Luke.
I'm on this team.
Luke would be a little
I'm
bit
ready.
funny.
Luke would be funny as well. But I like O'Shea. O'Shea is slowly becoming a good meme. I like him.
I like O'Shea. We
great.
got the O'Shea Brissett game. He's putting out good content. When you're done with us, go watch his vlog from the Eastern Conference Finals. A lot of fun.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out. You can see my head. The top of my head. In the
Saw you
vlog.
and Bobby. I was pumped. I was like, you guys.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
And
Bobby's clear as day in there when you guys are at the scrum in Indianapolis.
Oh, I didn't even see Bobby.
Yeah,
Bobby
he's
Bobby
right
Kravitsky or Manning?
Kravitsky.
Oh, interesting. I'll have to look again. Thanks, Colton. Next email. Michael again. Is the NBA rigged? What's
Good
popping,
question.
guys? Hope all is well. I just had a random thought I'd like to share. I'm typically a defender of the NBA as I'm a fan of the product, but every now and then I can't help but think maybe it's rigged. Then I realize I'm probably just tripping. Whether it's Jonas Valanciunas getting snubbed when he needs one more rebound. What? What is that? What is this?
Probably for a triple double or something.
Or LeBron doesn't take a shot the entire fourth quarter to ruin my parlay. Oh, I can't help but wonder if I am maybe onto something. It seems like they're looking for a new face of the league with LeBron's retirement certainly imminent. Luka scoring 70 in a game, legit. Unlike
he did it
Booker.
legit. Yeah.
It feels like the NBA could possibly be looking to crown Luka as the next guy. If it is true, the Celtics are going to get shafted by the refs this series. It's probably nothing, and I'm grasping all this unbearable weight for the final start. Curious on your thoughts. No, you're just waiting for the finals, and you're overthinking. Absolutely, not.
Michael fully thinks this is professional wrestling.
Yeah, this is not.
They built this Celtics team up to be an absolute monster. 64 wins, lost 2 games on the way to the finals just to have Luka squash him, so he looks like a beast.
Yeah, no, I think you're overthinking, which fair enough.
I am starting to overthink myself. I'm not going to lie to you. I was listening to Simmons today on the way back from Providence, and I was just like, oh, man. It's just sitting here. I'm like, oh, if they lose, this is going to suck. I'm starting to get nervous. But we have to wait. Have to wait and see. Have to wait.
Yeah. Thank y'all for the emails. We appreciate it. Let's move on
No
to the NBA
RJ
section.
today.
No RJ? He's
Hope
slacking.
he's doing all right.
Let's move on to the NBA. First one, Pelicans not planning on giving Brandon Ingram a max contract, to which I say, good.
Very tough.
he's not
Very
a max player. Tough for Ingram, but not a max player.
Good for the Pelicans also. You know what? Like, on a serious note, as much as I like to trash these guys that I just don't think are great players, there is something to be said about these small market teams being smart with their money. Like, just because you're a small market team doesn't mean you have to pay out the worst contracts you'll ever see. Even Chicago, like Chicago's not a small market. It's basically New York City, but it's in the Midwest. Did you really have to pay Zach LaVine $1 billion? It's not looking good right now. It looks like it sucks right now. New Orleans, not paying Ingram. Good idea. Do you know why? Because if he eventually becomes, he probably already is, somebody you want to trade, getting another team that wants to take back the salary is going to be a lot easier. Look at what's happening with LaVine. Nobody wants him. Nobody wants him. It's going to be a salary dump trade, meaning that Chicago Bulls have to give up more assets on top of him to get him off the roster. You do not want that if you're New Orleans. You have Zion. Zion, who is someone who is clearly not pleased about being there. All you've heard since he got drafted is that he doesn't really want to be on the Pelicans. He wants to play in New York. If you're able to do as much as you can to keep yourself from being boxed into a corner, do it. Do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Ingram sucks, but he's certainly not a max guy.
I don't think he's on the team by the start of next season. I think they trade him. I think they definitely trade him. To
Yeah,
where,
getting
I don't
benched
know.
in the plane was tough, huh?
Yeah, there's no way. I think he's gone. So see you later, and we'll see what that means for him and the team that trades for him this summer. Speaking of the Pelicans, a potential team Ingram could get traded to, they're interested in the Hawks guards. For what it's worth, the first Ingram thing was from William Guillory of The Athletic. This one is from Christian Clark of NOLA or NOLA.com. Clark says if the Pelicans were engaged with the Hawks, they would look to pry away Murray or Young. Even though Young is the more talented player, the Pelicans seem hold more of an interest in Murray. League sources said it's the 6'5" Murray is not as much of a defensive liability as the 6'1" Young can be. He's also on a cheaper contract. Murray will make 20.5 next season, while Young is set to make $43 million.
Oh, look at that. Another overpaid. Looking like it's not going to help.
I think Triano will be just fine. But it does make sense to land Murray if you're the Pelicans and already owing a lot of players a lot of money. Dejounte Murray's a great player. You saw what he could do on that, frankly, dog shit Spurs team a few years ago. Played really well
the Celtics
this year
when he
against
had
Celtics
1 billion
too.
points.
He's a good player. A lineup of Dejounte Murray, CJ McCollum, Herb Jones, or Trey Murphy, Zion in the center sounds pretty good. Or you could play small ball, run Zion at center and pray, but maybe not. But Dejounte makes a ton of sense for the Pels. And would you do Dejounte for Brandon Ingram? If I'm the Hawks, I say no, and I want more. But I think you can work something from there at the very least. Like you can get something going from there.
I feel like the Hawks have enough like wing guys that are okay players. I think. Can you hear this guy?
Do they though?
Revving his fucking thing.
I can, yeah. I did.
I hope it blows up. Seriously, I think. I don't know. It just depends on like where they want to go with it. If you're the Hawks, do you think Ingram is the guy that's enough to be a secondary creator on your team? Maybe you do, but I don't think it's looking great for him after this play-in debacle.
Mm-hmm. The other issue is if you're the I don't exactly know how it works, but the Pelicans are a second apron team. So second apron teams are prohibited from combining multiple player salaries into trades. Phoenix, as a specific example, could not trade both Yusuf Nurkic and Nasir Little for one player making that much money. Second apron teams also can't utilize trade exceptions, et cetera, et cetera. My question is, can they trade 2 for 2? Like, could they do 2 players for 2 players? Or like, can they not trade 2 players at once at all? Like, could the reason I ask is like, would the Hawks be more interested if it was like they sent out Dejounte Murray and Bogdanovich, got back Brandon Ingram and like Jordan Hawkins, so they got cheaper and younger, and like the 17th pick? Like, if you're the Pelicans, do you do that because you get Dejounte Murray and Bogdanovich, and then you roll with that for depth, and you get more shooting, get more defense? And if you're the Hawks, you get younger in Jordan Hawkins, you get Brandon Ingram in there for one season, then you can figure out what to do. You get the 17th pick, and you still have the first pick, so you could really build out a nice young core there. So like, is that something they would be interested in if you had a little like layer to it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about the cap rules. I'm so shit with that.
I think that would be
wrong
legal, but I'm not 100% sure. I think the purpose of that rule is to, I don't know if it's exactly the Malcolm Brogdon rule, but it feels like the Malcolm Brogdon rule. Because I don't like that Celtics Malcolm Brogdon trade would be illegal now.
Would it?
Yeah, you can't combine salaries in the offseason into one player now. something like that. Like
Oh.
if you're in the second apron, like you can't combine a bunch of things to make
That
it.
sucks. Well, glad it didn't happen to my team.
Drew Holiday would be illegal too. Exactly.
They got in at the right time. Let's go.
Yep, exactly.
I don't know
think
how they
Kristaps
expect teams to
probably
make
also be
moves now,
illegal.
though.
Don't fuck up your books.
I guess.
And it does help other teams. Like the Spurs can make moves this summer. The Sixers can make moves this summer. Like if you plan your books well, you can make moves. And if you are a young team, like it helps you. I don't know though. We'll see. Speaking of the 76ers though, they are looking to add a star. Shocker. The 76ers and Daryl Morey want to land a superstar. This is from hold up. Oh, no.
I don't think you have the right story.
I don't? What do you mean? Oh, I saw two things. We'll talk about the Sixers.
Okay.
This will be the Sixers segment. So
Okay.
The thing Sam put in is Keith Pompey, quote, a source said Nico Batum, Kelly Oubre, and Kyle Lowry are the free agents that they would most likely want to resign. Not only do they mesh well with Maxey and Joel Embiid, but they might not command a lot of money. Duh. Like, I guess that makes sense. I think Oubre could get some money, and I don't think Lowry will. I also think Batum's retiring. I don't think he's coming back, guys. Sorry. But
He's done.
he said at the start of last year that he's going to play in the Olympics, and then he's going to be done.
Oh, shades of Larry Bird.
Are you
Same way he went out.
music in the background?
I do. I have the Sixers music.
The 76ers thing I saw was that I want to find it here. According to Keith Pompey, it's the same thing. A maximum salary player via free agency or the trade from a pool. This is what they want from the pool of Paul George, LeBron James, Jimmy Butler, or Brandon Ingram.
Yeah.
Now,
Brandon
of
Ingram.
the four.
Yeah.
But
go ahead, get LeBron. He'll fuck up your team too.
LeBron's not going to Philly. Dude,
No,
imagine
he's not.
LeBron in Philly. You would yeah, that'd be the ultimate hatred from you, huh?
I don't know, like that's just like an immovable force or unstoppable force means a movable object. Like one has to give. Either the Celtics have to beat LeBron, which they haven't done in forever, or the Sixers would have to beat the Celtics, which never happens. Or maybe they just wouldn't play. But I don't know. It would be a good hate story. Like I would love me some good old fashioned fuck LeBron. That'd be fun.
I don't think LeBron's leaving LA. I don't think Jimmy Butler's leaving Miami. I think of the big three, I think Paul George is the most likely to leave.
I think Paul George is the most likely to leave. I'm not ruling out the Jimmy thing.
I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. I think it's all
I'm not
smoke.
saying it's gonna happen, but the Riley kind of like being like cut it out dickhead thing might not sit well with Jimmy.
Nah, I feel like that's their relationship. Maybe I'm not reading
It might
into it
be.
enough, but I think this is all just a ploy from them to figure out a contract and they'll be fine.
There also might be like a layer of it where Riley acted like that because he's not happy with Jimmy.
Maybe. Only time will tell, I guess. All right, you want to do the rat list?
Mm-hmm.
You ready to get rolling? I'll let you lead it off. What you got?
Oh, Ratless, the dickhead that was revving his engine. Him.
Sure. Easy.
I have one of those fuckers come down the street every night at 12:30, just revving it. Got nothing else going on. Just gonna show off whatever stupid car he fixed up in the middle of the night. Just driving down the street real loud. Some I'll never understand is the people that just they want their car to be as loud as possible. I
don't get it. It doesn't make
I'm
sense.
sure we have some car people that watch this.
Ratless 2-lane highways. So I went down to Plymouth
Get behind
yesterday, to play golf. Golf was great. Course was beautiful. I shared a picture on Twitter. I played all right. I didn't play great. I shot a 106, which isn't very good, but I had like on 2 holes, I had like an 11 and an 8. And so like if I just shot normally those holes, I probably would have shot around a 96, which is like pretty par for me, or pretty on par for me. I should say it's not par. I'm not very good. But that's like an okay day for me, breaking 100. Like I said, I'm not good. But on the way there to the Cape, it's all 2-lane highways, which, to put it plain and simple, does not give enough space for idiots to be idiots. Because I can't get by people in certain parts of it. And the worst part is like, it's like 55 in spots, but it's 1 lane. I'm sorry. You can't trust people to respect that. We got people going 50, and then it's just tons of traffic. Also, 50-mile-an-hour roads should not have traffic lights. Change something. Can't happen. Can't be a thing.
Yeah.
Can't be a thing.
Rat investigation.
Okay.
Hooters.
Okay.
Hooters in Warwick has closed. It is no more. They have shut it down.
Uh-huh.
Why have they shut it down, Jack? They are citing the bridge. The famous bridge, the bridge we have talked about many a time on this podcast. They say the impact of the bridge closure has done too much to our business. Now, I'm skeptical.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not convinced that Hooters decided to close its doors for good because of the bridge. The bridge is not that close to us. It would not affect business. I don't think there's that many people coming across the bridge to go and get Hooters wings. Now, I'm not often going to Hooters, but when I do enjoy the wings. I think the vibe's a little weird. I think we've talked about this on the show before too. It's like kind
I
of
agree.
going in there.
I would agree.
But I do like the wings, and I'm pretty sure they have a good buy one get one deal. Good. I'm trying to find the article. I saw an article on the Hooters closing. The fuck is it? Somebody, whatever. I'm not gonna pull it up, but it's bizarre that it's closing, and I would be very curious if you're a journalist in the Greater Providence area. I think you should look into this because I don't think that they closed because of the bridge closing. It's just my take. I don't think people are coming over from Fall River trying to get over to Hooters in Warwick. I just don't.
I agree. Okay, this isn't really relevant. I'm just confused. So I'm on Fanspo because I'm writing an article for. I guess it doesn't matter to this podcast at all. I rejoined Fansided, and so instead of doing USA Today, Bulls and Spurs, I'm doing Fansided, Hornets and Wizards. But I'm writing like LaMelo Ball trades, and the concept is like they probably won't trade him, but these trades would probably at least make them pick up the phone, whatever. And so I was on Trade Machine, but one of like Fanspo Trade Machine has these like community posts, and I don't get it. What's going on? It is Tatum with a Rockets logo, no context, and it's the importance of these finals. And all the comments before you like, oh, it'll be explained, is like, great work, good job. And maybe I'm dumb, and maybe I don't know how to use this, but I don't know what's happening.
The only thing I can think of is Ime. Like, he really likes playing with Ime. If they lose in the finals, then he's going to force his way to go play for Ime.
But like, it feels like there should be like a YouTube video or something attached to this.
There's not. Like, you can't click the picture.
I can't find anything. No, I clicked the picture, and it's just the picture.
It just gets bigger.
But
yeah, that's a cesspool. I've been over there a couple times looking for like trades for articles, like you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's not pretty.
I don't get it.
All right, I found the article. The complete history of this Hooters. This Hooters closed because it suffered roof damage in a snowstorm. It opened in 2020. This is what the article says. In 2016, Hooters parent company sued its franchisee, alleging the franchise operator violated its agreement by abandoning restaurants in Warwick and also in Delaware, oddly enough. The case was dismissed. Is this happening again? Look into it. I have nothing else to add. I really don't think I care that much. I just think this is really fucking weird to be like. I mean, there has to be something going on, right? Like, this is the dumbest reason to be like, hey, we're not going to have this restaurant anymore because of a bridge that's not even close. It's like 10 miles away. It's not close.
Yeah, that is odd. I'll rat list myself. So I was playing golf, obviously, yesterday, like I said. And again, I'm dog shit, so I hit the ball in the woods, right? Find it, get there. And I don't know the best way to describe this. So I'm trying to get it to the green, and I see a gap. But the gap between the trees is like this, like literally this big. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see my arms. If you're not, it's like a little longer than shoulders length apart is this gap. And me being, awesome at golf that I am, like, you know what? I'm going to hit it through that. And so I go, Henry, watch out. Don't know this is going to go. Get my club, line it up, go to hit it. Thwap! Pop! Bounces off the tree, back directly at my face, and I duck, and I could feel it through my hair. I almost decapitated myself with a golf ball. And I look at Henry, and Henry's just dying laughing. but I'm not very good, and that was funny. Other thing, 18th hole. So we played. You know what best ball is? Probably not. So best ball is like it was me and Henry versus my friends Ryan and Graham, and best ball is like we take our best score. So like if I get a 5, Henry gets a 6, Graham gets a 7, Ryan gets a 6. Henry had the best score in the hole, so our team gets the point. So it's basically
it's like a scramble.
No, scramble's slightly different. So scramble is when Henry and I both drive, and then we both hit from that one. So like we get one cumulative score, but excuse me, we're all playing in this case. Best ball is we're all playing individually, but whichever singular person has the best score in that hole, their team gets the point.
I see.
And if there's a tie, like say Henry and Ryan both get 5s, then we just push, and so the next hole is worth 2 points, right? So we get down to it. Henry and I are up like 4 with 5 holes left. We blow the lead. Classic Celtics. 18th hole, they're up 1. Get out there, 18th hole. Ryan, middle of the fairway, goes. I look at him. I go, "Good luck, buddy," because I smoked my drive like great all the way down. And he goes, "I don't need luck. I have talent. I have skill." And he just drops his club by accident. So Henry and I are crying, laughing, and then he duffs his shot 5 feet, like whatever, how many yards in front of him. Get to the green. Ryan misses a putt. I make a putt. Whatever. We tie it up. So we go to the putting green, like the practice green. All putt to the same hole. We tie. I'm last on the second shot. I drain like a 50-foot putt to win the day, and it was just, it was like I'm just very happy I got to golf.
Did you like celebrate like you won the Masters?
I just kind of stood there and smiled. Henry goes, "He fucking made it!" Like, it was good. It was good time, good vibes. It was great. It was very fun.
Oh man, I'm gonna rattle some of this Twitter discourse.
Danger. What is the discourse?
So the Caitlin Clark discourse. Everybody's mad no matter what.
Like the pushing thing?
The pushing thing.
Yeah.
I don't really know what you're supposed to feel on this. It's definitely a dirty play, but it's also part of the game. Like Draymond does this.
Yeah, my thing, it's part of the game, but I don't think it should be. But I feel like people are making too big a deal about it. People are making it too much about Caitlin Clark rather than just like, that's a dirty play. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? It's too much like they're targeting her. She's a victim. Like, no, like this could have happened to anybody. Well, maybe, but like who fucking cares? Like, I don't think she cares. So why should we?
Everybody, I think I've heard Big Cat has talked a lot about this. Like the WNBA this year has got a lot of new fans. A lot of people that don't typically watch sports. And so they don't really know how to react to these kind of things. So they just go online and get really mad. And I saw a NBA Reddit post about this too. And it's a great point. Like when your sport begins to get popularity, this is going to happen. Like this is a good thing that people are just spewing takes because they don't really know because they're new to it. Like you've gained new fans. But seeing a lot of discourse about it. Everybody's mad all day. Just mad.
Yeah. Whatever. I think people just need to let it go. It is what it is. It's going to happen. Get over it. Like this happens in the NBA all the time. People talk about it and then they get over it. Who cares? It is what it is. Like whatever.
You gotta just have Draymond talk. I wonder if he talked to me. I wonder if he did the pod and was like, I defend the player on the Chicago Sky that checked her. Respect. It's like she could come on my pod anytime.
I need rat list court for myself. I need you to tell me if I'm a rat or if I'm in the right.
Okay.
So I went to play pickleball the other day. Have you ever played pickleball?
Yeah, I played once.
Very fun. I enjoy it.
It's fine.
Went to play me, Henry, my sister's friend, Kara. Sister's friend, Kara, the one who said, I will not bring Charger on vacation. Remember that story?
Bizarre. Yeah. Weird.
Well,
person.
I have since learned that she didn't actually make that rule or a list. My sister just presented it as such. So she just like didn't bring one. Like she just whatever. Anyways, regardless, that's not a part of the story. I was playing pickleball. My sister and her friend had like matching outfits. They're like they like it. They really like it. It was like whatever. I was playing in Crocs, right? Me and Henry get there. We're like, okay, let's have fun. You know this. I get very overly competitive about everything. About everything. I'm a very competitive person. I
Jack's not like the other guys. He's competitive.
You know what I mean, though. I mean,
you do. You get fired up. I mean, if you watch the CLNS video back, you're fired up in there. You get excited for Terp when he makes the layup.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But we're playing, and I am to put it simply, just the tallest one there. And so I end up they'll hit it back to me, and I just go up, I go, whop, and just spike the shit out of the ball
As you should.
to get the points. And my sister's getting mad, and she goes, why do you have to take everything so seriously all the time? I'm like, shit, okay, my bad. Like, and I feel a little bad because they just did want to come have a good time. I'm like, all right, let me calm down. I'll breathe a little bit. And so I calm down. And then Henry, I love Henry. And I don't think it has anything to do with him. There is nobody I like losing to less than Henry.
Yeah, of course.
It's a sibling thing, right? I hate losing to Henry. And so Henry's like talking shit. I forget what he said. He was like talking shit or something. And then I go, okay, fine. And then Grace and I play Henry and Kara. But I am still, and like, I could tell Grace was a little like upset. I could tell her friend was like, not upset, but like, they obviously weren't taking it as seriously as I wanted to, because like,
I'm not convinced you can show up with matching outfits and get mad.
Also possible.
Like, they're into it, but then they're mad if they lose.
But I'm taking it a little easy, and every single ball that's even a little out, you just hear Henry go, out. That one's out, and Grace is like getting mad, and I'm still not. Yeah, exactly. I'm not spiking shit still, and I just turn to Grace. I go, Grace, I'm sorry, and I just start fucking wailing shit down, and we still ended up losing, and so we're all about to leave, and I go, fuck that, and I go, Henry, 1v1 right now, and we play, and I win, but I was more curious of like, am I the ratless for trying too hard, or am I in my right to try as hard as I can? I think I'm probably mostly the ratless because like I just need to know the moment and not be a dick. But
yeah, you kind of sound like the guy at like the pickup game that's like fouling people.
Yeah,
aka Henry, like the guy that like is taking it a little too seriously. Like if I'm playing pickup basketball with people and like it's everybody wants to win, but like nobody's like doing the no easy points in the paint thing.
Yeah,
the guy that does that is like a dick. But at the same time, like I said, you can't really have matching outfits and like playing, and then all of a sudden you lose, and it's like, I shouldn't have been. You shouldn't be trying as hard.
Grace,
I think that's a mess.
Grace, if you listen to this, I mean no ill will. I love you. I'm just my bad. That's all I got. You got anything else?
Kind of self-ratless. So on Saturday,
this is a big hand up episode. This is a big hand up our back.
No, this is more. I just want to tell a funny story.
Okay.
So I had plans to be canceled on Saturday, and playing Xbox with Frank.
Nothing better.
We're sitting waiting for something. Nothing better. It's the Mulaney joke about canceling plans is like heroin. Have you ever seen that?
No, but I like it.
Yeah, he's like, it's like heroin. Yeah, so I'm on Xbox, and Frank's there with me, and he's like, do you want to play Civ Rev? I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll play Civ Rev. I had not played Civ Rev in a while. Now, if you're new to the pod, Civ Rev is a game that takes up a lot of your time. Games take like 2 to 3 hours. But anyways, I'm like, yeah, like I'm done with everything. Were you raising your hand?
I was saying I want to play. I was just talking. You keep going, sorry.
You can download it and you can play. It's fun. But you might not want to play after this. So anyways... I'm playing with Frank. Frank does not play this game very often. I had a phase in my life this season where I was fucking playing this game just for every day, just sitting there playing hours upon hours upon hours of Civ Rev on the highest difficulty. So I'm dominating this fucking game, and I'm about to win. And I nuke Frank. I nuke Frank. I've taken 4 of the 5 capitals in the game, and if I take the 5th, I win. So I nuke Frank. The best part about this is if you play Civ Rev, there are multiple ways to win. So one of the ways you can win, aside from taking all the capitals, is a science victory. In a science victory, you have to like build all these different parts of a spaceship and you shoot them up into space. So you get an animation of a rocket ship going up, right? So I shoot off the nuke. And Frank's like, oh, what's this? Like, he thinks it's part of the spaceship. And then he slowly sees it start to turn towards his capital. And he's like, oh, no, fuck you. You're such a prick. Fuck you.
I can just picture that. Oh, that's sick. Wait.
Yeah, the realization that he was about to have his game come to an end. It was a lot of fun, but he was ready to be done playing. Bonus Ratless 2K.
How deep into the game was that? A few hours?
Yeah, it was. I was about to win anyways. I had the money victory. I had culture victory. I was ready to win. 2K, you can't play 2K anymore, man. You just can't. I loaded it up for fun, like just to fuck around because I was so bored. And I was like, this is unplayable. You cannot shoot unless you spend hours upon hours upon hours learning the jump shots. It's impossible.
No, it's bad. It's really
I
bad.
used to love playing 2K.
I've
What happened to the
seen-
game I love?
Were you trying to play my career or like my league?
I was just playing like a pickup, like play now.
Well, they have a new setting. It's less fun, but if you want to play my league or something, you can put on the setting of real percentage where you can like put on.
Yeah.
There's no timing, but it'll shoot like what that player shoots percentage wise based on the numbers. So like if you're just trying to do a sim or like build a team and play, like I've seen that's a way like people have gotten around it, but it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same. Nothing better than playing 2K leagues. Ratless nostalgia. So while I was waiting for Buffalo Wild Wings, my friend pulled up the spreadsheets from the old 2K drafts on his phone. Some great memories from 2K. I've never seen some of my friends from this friend group get this upset. I had one friend. I'm not going to say what he said to his brother. He said he wanted to see some terrible things happen to his brother after he scored 72 points with Giannis against him. Then there was another one where I shot 12 of 12 from 3, which is a crazy number with today's NBA. But still, 12 of 12, I greened like all of them. And he didn't realize it until the game was over. He was like, man, that was tough. Like, he wasn't even like that mad. And then he like looked at the thing. He's like, you shot 12 of 12 from 3. And he just lost his shit. I had one against Frank. Frank, who is going to be on the show eventually. We talk about him. We're going to we'll
This
have
summer. We'll do something fun this
We're going to
summer.
have to fill time. We're going to have people on. Never seen him so mad. So we were playing a league, and I drafted an entire team of Celtics guys. And in order for me to win, I had to really like sweat and like play hard. So I'd run plays, and I would have my shooters get off ball screens so they'd be open enough to shoot without quick jump shots. So Ray Allen was getting screens, Larry Bird was getting screens, and I was drilling these shots. And then he lost it. He's just like, I've had enough. Off ball screen for Ray Allen. Off ball screen for Larry Bird. And he just like slams his controller. He like kicks the shit out of a bag of laundry he had in his room. And the best part is we were working together at the time. So like I saw him like 2 hours later, and I was just breaking his balls about it at work.
That's all time. That's so fucking funny.
And Ratless, the NBA. I'm sick and tired of fucking waiting for this series to start. Jack and I have to do a whole extra pod or another pod before this series even starts.
We should
Send
get a
in
guest.
your emails.
We should get a guest. Not like a guest, but like have some other people just to
Have
talk
our
and
friends
chat.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
have,
some roundtable people.
I wouldn't mind having Bobby Manning on if he would
we
do
could
it.
ask
Or
him.
Keith.
We'll see. We'll see what we can cook up. Maybe we'll get something, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Do we know any Mavericks people?
Like
No.
it, we can try. It's very short notice, but we'll see. We'll see what we can
Jake
cook up.
Fisher. Jake Fisher, I'm sure, who's very busy.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Anyways, we can wrap there. We'll figure something out. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to How About Them Celtics on YouTube. Turn the notification bell on, and make sure your YouTube notifications are on your phone as well, so you can actually get the notifications, because we've had people have trouble with that in the past. But thank y'all. I'll let Sam take it out.
Yeah, also, anti-Ratless, you guys have been tuning into all the videos. We've had great success over the last like week and a half. People are excited for the finals. Really, the last couple rounds of playoffs have been pretty good with engagement. So we are officially back, and we'll be back, and we'll be here all summer. But for now, we have pods Tuesday, Thursday, Sundays on the channel. So subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss any of it. We also have game recaps the morning after, and we have these other videos in between filling you in on the days where there isn't a ton of content going around. We also have live streams, Talking Season, Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings. It's Jack, me, Bobby Kravitsky, talking about the Celtics, playing GeoGuessr, doing trivia. We also have Celtics the Roundtable, Tuesdays around 6 p.m. This week, tomorrow, today as you're hearing this, 10 p.m. Eastern. We'll be here no matter what, late night. Probably going to have fun. You going to get drunk?
No, what the fuck? What? Why? Why would I do that?
Because it's like late. You have to do something special for the
You
stream.
think I just drink every night at 9
No.
o'clock on the dot? Yeah, let me
No,
go
I
drink.
don't. I don't think you drink, but it would be funny.
Nah.
Gonna spice it up. Anyways, we have those. Then we have pregame live, where we're both basically drunk in the comment section, reading the comments, chatting it up with you guys a half hour before every single game. You can also find us on Spotify and Apple. Our streams, not streams, our pods and game I might be drunk. Our pods and game recaps are there, audio only. So if you give us a follow, those will go right into your feed. Leave a 5-star review. You can find us via email, hbtcpod@gmail.com. You saw Michael. You saw Colton. Hit us up. Let us know what you're thinking ahead of the finals. I'm sure you're dying like we are for these games to start, and I'm sure you're excited. You can find our socials at How About Them C's, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Facebook's the name of the pod. Our streams are there. They're on Twitter. They're on YouTube. And Jack's Twitter's Jack's Money NBA. Mine's at Samuel France NBA. I fucked up the order. That's it for us. Bye.
Tic-tac-toe.